Okay, everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to the new ones. Thank you to the visitors. And thank you so much for your compliments and all your love. We are on the second part of the long table runner. So we are going to continue on with part 2, and we'll continue on the white. So please don't forget to share, like, comment, and feel free to ask any questions. We are continuing with number 4 thread, size 4, Joanina Ladybug, and I'm using the purples, the greens, and the white, and pink, and so on and so forth. So if you followed video 1, then you will know all the colors that I've put into this. I show right from the beginning. Needle number 3. And let's get started. And thank you so much, everybody, again. Okay, everybody, so we did the 7 groups. We've locked in. Now we need to cut down again. So now we're going to go to the next one. And we're going to do 4 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. 2, 3, and 4. So we're gonna, here's 5, 4, 3, 2. Anyway, 1 stitch separation. And now we're gonna come into 1 here inside. And we're gonna do 2 inside of here. 1, 2, and 1 on the next loop. So you're going to have 4 stitches here. 1 separation, going to the next one. And we're going to repeat this on top of the 7 groups. Same way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 separation. I'm going to go right in here. And then 2 in here. 1, 2. And then 1 on the next loop. Now we have 4. So we're going to repeat this on the 7 ones. Okay, so we did the 7 groups. 1 separation. Go into, so it's going to stay single. 1, 2. We're going to go into the 4 groups, stitch. 1, 2. Okay, so we have the 2 stitch, 2 groups. 1, 2. Now we're going to do the stitches. 1, 2, 3. And do the stitch. We're going to do the stitch all the way to the end here. Okay, so we've did all our stitch. Continue to separation. Now we're going to do our groups of 3. We're cutting down, remember? 1, 2, next one. So now we have the 2 groups. 1, 2. Into this one. We're going to do our stitches now. Okay, so we're going to continue our stitch all the way to here, so we can cut down the groups. Okay. Okay, so we did all the stitch, and now we're going to do the groups 1, 2, and then the stitches. We're going to continue the stitches from here on. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And we're going to continue our stitch. Like that. Continue on until the end. So we did our stitch. We continue till there. Now we do our groups of 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. And we're going to repeat the same thing as we did the beginning. So now we go into here. And we're going to do our stitch. So very easy, not complicated, and it's a beautiful pattern. You can mix all the colors you want or do all in one color. It's up to you. I personally like different colors, so I think it gives it more character to the patterns. But one color is good too. Okay, so we're going to continue. And it's going to be the same thing like on this side. So we have 2 groups. So we got to do 2 groups. That means we're going to continue until here. So we continued until there. Now we're doing our groups. 2 separation. So it's repeatedly the same thing. What you do at the beginning, you do at the end, and you do on the other side too. One, 2, and our group again. So we're supposed to have 2 groups only because we cut down like that. So it's going to be the same thing as on here. Now we are going to do our 1 stitch, 1 separation, and the 5. One stitch, 1 separation, and the 5. Okay, so we're going to repeat the groups of 7 the same way as we did the 4, sorry. We're going to have the 4 stitch. And here the 2. 1 separation. We're going to go 1 stitch and 2 on the same place. So we can have 4 stitches like that. 1 separation and do your 5. Okay, so repeatedly what we did on one side and one end, we're going to do the same thing on this end. 1 separation, 1 stitch, and 2 inside, and 1 on the next loop. Okay, so what we did here on this one, we're going to do on this one. Okay, everybody, so we've done the groups, and we're at the end now. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on here. We're going to repeat it there. So all you have to do is lay out your pattern, follow it, or rewind the video, whichever is easier for you. Okay, so we've reached the end. We've locked in. Now we go to the next space. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So we have 3. And just want to make sure. Okay, because we're at the corner. Okay, so we have 3 on here. Now we did 1 separation. We're gonna have to add 2 at the beginning. 2. We have to do 7 in here. 3, 4, 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, might as well add 1 here. Hold on. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 and 7. So we're going to have 7 here. 1 separation and go back and do the 3. So we're going to do the 7 groups the same way on both sides. Like that. Okay. 3, 7, 3, 7. So we're going to have 2, 1, 2, and 2. Okay, so it's got a total of 7. So we finished the groups. And we're going into our 4 group section. One, 2 separation into the next one. We go inside, make 4 more of the groups. Like that. So we are on the 3rd row here. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 groups. And then we're going to follow on with the stitch. Okay, everybody, so we've done the 3. Now we're doing the 1, 2 separation. So basically, if you realize, if you look well in the bottom of the pattern, you're creating those little blocks like we did from the beginning. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 1. So we're going down, right? We're making triangles. So we're going to continue our stitch until the end. Okay, so we finished creating all our stitch. We're going to go here, 2 separation. We're going to create our block. And we're going to stitch here and continue the stitches so we can have our triangle. So it's going to be 4, 3, 2, and now 1. Okay, so now we're going to continue because we have only 1. And continue out your stitch. Okay, continue on. Again, we just finished doing all of them. We continue. We're going to do 1 stitch. So 2 separation, do your 1, just like down here. Like this one. And put it here. And then continue the stitch. So we've done the stitch. Now we need to create the 3 groups of 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, and continue the group. Then we continue. So we're supposed to have 3 groups of 4. Like that. And separation. And now we're going to the 7 group. So we're supposed to have 3. And then we have to do the 7 stitches in here. Same thing as we did on the other side. 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the same place. See? 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2 more will be your 7. 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. 1 separation. And do your 3. So we're repeating the same thing here as we did here. And we're going to repeat all of this row. Same thing on this side. Exact same thing. Okay, you guys, so we've locked in. We go up 3. And we're going to do 2 stitch, 1 separation. And we're going to go 1 in here, in the middle. 1 separation and count 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 4 stitch. 1, 2, or I should say 3 and 4. So here's your 3 stitch, 2, 1, 4, 1 separation, and back again 1 here. This is on these 7 groups. 1 separation again. We go in here, we do 2. 1 separation again, and we do 1. 1 separation again, 1, 2, 3, and we do 4. So it's going to be repeatedly on the 7 groups the same way, like that. 1 separation, 1 in the middle, 1 separation, 2. So repeat the same thing on these 7. So we did the last group of the 7, 2, 1 separation, and 1. And now we do the groups, the 4 groups, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and again. I'm going to do the 4 groups. Like that. So we're going to have 2 groups because here we have 3. Remember? We have 3 here, so we're going to have 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to do stitch over stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And we're going to continue our stitches. And continue your stitch. Just going to leave the 2. So we did all the stitches. We're going to continue. And 1, 2. And we're going to continue the stitch again. Okay, so continue your stitch through it. So just continue on. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so we have 0 on here. We continue our stitch. We continue again, 0 on here. We're going to continue our stitch, and it's going to be 0 on here and continue the stitch. So here is going to be the same thing as here. Okay. So we finished doing all of the stitches with 0. Now we're almost at the corner, almost at the end. So now if you look at it, we need to do the 2 groups. So we continue. One, 2. And we're going to do the 4. So we're going to have 2 groups. We're going to do the 4 here and the 4 there. So we did the 2 groups. We're going to leave the 1, just like the one there. And then we're going to do 2. So 1 separation. And we're going to do 2. So we're going to repeat 1 separation. We're going to repeat what we did on the other corner, on the other side of the 7 groups. 1 separation, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do our 4th stitch. So it repeats the same thing as we did on the other side. So 1 separation, we go and do 1 here, 1 separation, and do the 2. So we're going to repeat all of this on the 7 groups like we did here. Okay, so now we've reached the 7 groups again, so we're going to repeat the same thing as we did on this side. So we're going to do it on this side and all the way around. Whatever we repeated here, we're going to repeat it on this side. Okay, everybody, so we've closed in. We did the last 4, 1 single stitch. Make sure that you see it well. 1 single, the 2, 1 singles there. So I'm going to cut my yarn because I'm changing colors. So now we are getting into this one here. It's only going to be stitch over stitch over stitch over stitch all the way around. So not complicated, it's just stitch over stitch, and I'm going to cut up my yarn. So I'm going to give it a knot, and you can start basically anywhere, it really doesn't matter. We're going to do just stitch over stitch. So I'm going to start here, doesn't matter where you start. 1, 2, 3, inside, in between all of the stitches on the spaces, we're going to give 1 stitch, and then on top of everything else, 1 stitch. So nothing to it with this round, it's very simple. Just make sure you get your stitches inside of the loops there. Hide your yarn. Okay, so now we're going into the next space. 1 stitch in the middle. 1 stitch on top of the stitch underneath. Okay, so it's always 1 stitch in the middle. Oops. Let me just check here. Okay, where the 4s are, we're going to give 2 stitch in the middle. So where the 2 stitch separation is, 2 stitch in the middle, and then 1 stitch overlapping the others. So nothing to it, very simple. Get you closer a bit. So where the 4 stitches are, we're going to give 2 stitch inside of the space, and then overlapping. Okay, so very simple. 2 where they are, and then on your 0 thing here, one inside. So we'll get to that. So here we are. 1 stitch in the middle, and 1 stitch right over, and continue on. So only where there's the 4 groups, like here, it's 2 stitches in the middle. Sorry, I made a mistake. Where we have the 1 space, we're gonna do 2 stitch and not 1. Sorry about that. You know, you get so exhausted of so many different stitches every day that you get confused sometimes, you know. But nothing to it. I mean, it's not like it's a complicated stitch that we're gonna, so put 2 inside of the empty spaces. So again, we're getting here, we're gonna do 2. 1, 2, and then you carry on the stitch. So stitch over stitch. Continue on. Again, we're getting into the 4 groups. We're gonna do 2 inside and continue on. Okay, so 2 inside and continue on, 2 inside and continue on, 2 inside. So now we're doing the corners. So where we have 1 space, we do 1 stitch. Anything that has 1 chain space, 1 stitch, 1 chain space, 1 stitch. Only the ones that we have the 2, then we do the 2 inside. The ones that we have 1, 1, 1, 1, and so on. So we're going to do that all the way around the same way as we did here. We're going to do it on the other side. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everybody, so we did all the green. Now we change color again, because now we're doing the top part here. Stitch over stitch everywhere. So you can grab anywhere. Again, we are going to grab by the back loop only. So back loop, and we're going to do stitch over stitch on every single one of them all the way around. So nothing to it, very simple, and we're almost there. A few more rows and we're done. So just go stitch over stitch, grab back loop only, again back loop, and go all the way around to here. Okay, everybody, so we finished all the way around, all the stitch. I'm changing yarns again, so I'm cutting it up, and we're going to change into something else. Not sure yet which one. I'm going to put the yarn next to it and see if that's the yarn that I want. So very simple, nothing complicated, just hiding the yarn now. So I don't have to go through it at the end. I like to get rid of it now as I'm cutting. I don't have to come back to it. It's over and done with. Then I'm going to give it a tie it up. Go through a few more loops. And one more knot here. And we should be okay. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to decide which one. Okay, everybody, so I decided to go with the white to give it a little spark. Okay, so now we're on this row here. And this row here we have 2, 4, 6, 8. Separation of 2. 1, 2, and then 8 and 2. I'm off camera. So 8, separation of 2, 2 stitch, and 8 again, and then 2 stitch, separation of 2. So let's do this. So I'm going to start a little piece of yarn here that I have to tuck it in after. Okay, so let me see. So I have a line there, so I'm going to start about the line here. So I'm going to start where the lines are. Grab it by the back, tie it up. As much as I didn't want to use the white because I have to use double thread, but I have no choice at this point. There's no white anywhere size 4, so we have to wait until shipment comes into the island. So it's very, very difficult. Let me just get myself here. I think I'm off camera, but so very difficult to get it in. I mean, we manage, but it's not easy to work with two threads. You know, one always escapes and then you'll have to go back, but it's manageable though. I mean, just have to have a little bit of patience with it. That's all. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, one more. So we have 8. Now we have to do 1, 2, and we're going to skip 1, 2 on the next one, grabbing back loops only. Okay, you see the back loop? So 8. We're going to do that all the way around the same way. So not complicated. 8 stitches, 2 separation, and 2 space on the bottom. I hate when this happens. It always 2, 4, 6, 8. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2 on the third one. Back loops only. Okay, people, so this is how it is. We're going to do that all the way around until we lock it in over here. Okay, you guys, because we are getting into the corner, we're doing the 7 groups. We are not going to skip 2. We're only going to skip 1. So when you start off doing your first 8, this is the first group right here. So you're going to skip 1 only and not 2. Okay, so we're going to one stitch, oh no, 2 stitch and skip 1. Only around the corners, only around, not the edges. So we're going to do this all the way until the other first one here. So it doesn't bend too much because we are doing the curve. So we need that extra so it doesn't curl up. There's little tricks of not having it to curl up. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2 separation and skip 1 only. The only time we're going to skip 2 is when we're doing the long side here. Okay, so all the round edge we're skipping by 1. So let me just pull it up like that. So all the edge here, 1, and the other ones are by 2 separation, and here is 1. So now we're reaching the last group of the 7. So we're still going to do 1, 2 separation, 1 here, and then we continue with the 2 separation in the bottom after this one. Okay, so we want to make sure that we don't curl up the corners, that curve, or it's going to look funny. It's going to be like stretched out. Won't be looking good. So let me see if I have 8 in there. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, I'm good. Now 2 separation, and we had started here, so we're gonna just want to make sure that I did this properly. Okay, so 1, 2, we're going to go on the third one. And we're going to continue separating them by 2s. Okay, until we get to the next corner. And just your first group of 7. Then we're going to start separating by 1 again. 2, 4, 6, 7. One more. 1, 2. And then 1, 2. And then on your third one. And then we're going to just continue on. Okay, so we're going to continue on until the corner again. Okay, so now, excuse me. So now we're just starting the first group of 7. So we're going to do our 8 and skip only 1. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, skip 1, go to the next one. So we're doing the whole corner the same way as we did on the other side. Do our 8, 2 stitch separation, and 1 space in the bottom. And then continue on doing the same thing until we meet at the end. Okay, so we've reached the end of the white one. Now, I must have missed a stitch somewhere because I was like 1 missing. So what I did was I put a 2 together on here to make the 8. And it still gives me that little space here of 1 separation. Okay, so in order to have the 8 here, I added another one on the same one. So I'll have my group of 8 and 1 separation here with 2 stitch. Okay, everybody, so I ran out of yarn, so I had to grab another batch. So we're gonna continue on the second row of the white, as you can see, and we're gonna skip 1, 2 on the third one by the back loop. Get you closer. The back loop, we are gonna go up 1, 2, and 3. Start hiding your yarn already. And on this one, we're gonna have 5 chain stitch. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're gonna have 5 chain stitch, and then we're gonna go into the first one here on the space. And we're gonna do 1, 2 separation, and into the same one we're gonna do another chain. So it's like we're having a little V, you know, like the V here. See the little V here? So we're doing 8 5s and the V, 5 and the V, and it's going to be like that throughout the whole 1, 2 on your third one, throughout the whole row, all the way from the beginning to the end. So not complicated at all. I'm doing 5 stitch. So we have 4 and 1 more, and then we go into the 2, 4, 6, and 8. So we're going to go in here. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to create 1, 2, and we're going to create our V again. Okay, so, and then you continue on, you skip 1, 2, and on the third one again. This is the bottom one that I had skipped that stitch. That's why it looks a little bit funny when you're overlapping it, but it's all going to come together. So no stress over it. See, it all comes together at the end. Okay, so continue on yours all the way to the end, to here. Okay, everybody, so we've reached the end. I'm gonna cut the yarn because I'm changing color. You can keep the same color if you like, but I'm gonna go back to my pink to do the 2 rows here, and then I'll change color and probably do either the green or the purple up top. I'll see as I go. So very simple. So now we are gonna do 3 chain stitch in here where the 5 is. Get you closer up. And we're gonna grab the back loop. So we're gonna skip the first one. Turn your work around. I'm gonna do the second one. And we're gonna do the third one. Try to hide your yarn already. So we have 3 because now we're doing these ones here, as you can see here. Now we're going to do inside of the loops. Just pull this yarn here. Okay, so we go directly into the middle and we're going to do 4 chain stitch. Okay, no separation. So we do 4. Then we skip 1 here again. We go into the next one. It's going to be repeatedly the same thing throughout all the row, all the way to the end. So 3 on top of the other ones here where the 5 are, and 4 inside of the little loops. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, you guys, you know where the first group of the 7, right? We're going to start doing it, but because this is the corner, we don't want it to curl up too much, so we're going to give it 1 stitch separation and do the 4 inside. The regular thing, the normal, the only difference is the 1 stitch separation in between, so it doesn't curl up. So 1 stitch separation and then go into your regular 3 stitches in here. Okay, we don't want it to cramp up too much. 1 stitch separation and go back in. This is only for the corners, the round where the 7 groups are, not the side walls. The side, it's only over here on the corners, okay? And then the regular, there's no stitch separation, only here. Okay, everybody, so we've pretty much reached the end. We are going to go into the middle and we're going to give it a notch up, 1 stitch, and back in the same place and do a small stitch like that. And then we're going to do 1 stitch separation. We're going to go once inside the same one. Actually, we have to make a stitch separation for all of them, sorry. So 1 separation and back on the same one, 1 separation. We're going to have a total of 7 in here. So we're going to do 2 at the beginning in the same place and 2 at the end. 1 separation, so we have 3 so far. 4, 1 separation. Here's your 5, 1 separation. 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, sorry. So you do Get you closer a little bit. Okay, so 2, make 1, make another one with 1 separation, another one in the same place. That'd be 5, 1 separation, another one, 2 on the same place here at the end. So will be the total of 7, always 1 separation between them. So it's going to be like this. And we're going to go directly into the middle of this one. And we're going to lock it in like that. And then again, we're going to go here. 1 separation and 1 back in it. We're going to repeat this all the way through this row until the end. This is the before last row. Or you can make it your last if you want. It's optional because then we have these little pom-poms here at the top to do. It's optional. You don't have to do it. So 2, 3. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to make 1 separation. I keep forgetting about that 1 separation. That's not good. It doesn't make a big difference, but still, it's better for the topper line. If you're not doing the topper line, then you don't need to make the 1 separation. If you're doing the last row like I am, then it's best you do. Then you come, and then here, no separation, okay? We did at the beginning 1 stitch, so it doesn't stretch out. That's why I made 1 separation. But when we're going to come down, we're not going to have the 1 separation. Okay, I'll just turn this camera this way because I always have the tendency of being off camera. Okay, so then we go back into this one here. 1 separation, back in the same place. 1 separation, you go to the next one, single stitch, 1 separation, and 2 more here, and then 2 more at the end with always 1 separation. Like I said, that's if you are not doing the last row with the pom-pom like I am, then you don't need to make the 1 separation. You leave it just 7 stitch one after another, the same way without the separation. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everybody, so we've reached the end. I'm going to cut the yarn, or the thread, I should say. I keep saying yarn because to me it seems like all the same, but it's not. The texture is different. So I'm going to tie it up over here so we can have a good job and nothing's going to come apart. So I grab usually a smaller needle because my stitch is always very tight, so that's, you know, my needle is not going to go through it. And I'm going to pull through here and I'm going to make a knot, and we know for sure that's not going to go anywhere. And then you would go like underneath these loops here and then pull through it and hide the rest of the leftover. Okay, so now, like I said, the top part is optional. You don't have to do it. I like to do it because it gives it a nice finishing on the pattern. So, gives it another outstand look. Just gonna get a few pieces of the yarn still here that I had hid away. Okay, so how lovely is that, right? Now, I believe I am, I'm going to put it to the test to see which one I like better, either the green or the purple, or even the multicolored one that we did from the start here. So I'm going to try it out and see which one I like better, and I'll take it from there. Okay, so I've put them to the test, and I think I'm going to go with the green. So you can start anywhere from the beginning in the middle here. We just finished this one up. we're going to be doing 5 of these little, whoops, these little pompons there. So I'm going to finish this one up and I'll show you where you can start like I did. I think it's much easier when you show right from the start. But usually what I do is I sew them, not sew them, I stitch several collars on, and then I go with whatever one I like, and then I just undo whatever I did with the other colors. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, one more. And so you know you go up 3 and then you just lock it in here, you make your little pom-pom. Okay, let's say you're starting in the corner. Make sure you go all the way in the middle. You know, if you're starting your thread, go in the middle. And you go on the back loop as usual. Oops, what am I doing? Back loop as usual. And 1, 2, 3 up. Go in the thing there. And then go to your next one. 1, 2. Very simple. We're going to do this all the way around. Make these little pompons exactly like we have there on the gray one. It's a grayish blue. One, two, three. So this is what it is, and then I'm gonna. I already have a few leaves that I had made, and this one like that. So I am going to end this one like this. So I made a few leaves already, and I have to do just 2, 3 flowers and add some leaves. I'll show you at the end. So very simple, just follow up. It's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No biggie, it's easy to do. And then I'll do my flowers and my leaves. I'll show you how I glue it on. And then at the end, once else it's glued and so forth, then I give it a few stitches to make sure that it does not come apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the 5 there. So just go over the next loop. If you have a loop, if not, then continue. And then go over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. And very simple to make. On top of your next one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of everything. Once you're done this, cut your yarn. I'm going to cut my yarn too. And if you want to follow up to see how the flowers and everything else is going to be glued on, and then just stay to the end. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like. I think it's gorgeous. I'll see you at the end. Okay, everybody. So pretty much have everything done. We are just gonna, I placed the flowers. I didn't want too much. I wanted something very simple. And so I'm waiting it to warm up a bit. And then we're just gonna glue it exactly where we want it. You don't have to put too much, just enough to have it settled so it doesn't move. I think my gun is still not warm enough. So I want to thank everybody for being here and creating this beautiful piece with me. I thank you so much. Thank you for all the people that have subscribed and all your beautiful, lovely comments. I can't thank you enough. For the visitors, newcomers, thank you for visiting my channel. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you liked what you saw. And you know, you're going to create it and keep it or give it as gifts. I mean, this makes very luxurious gifts. You know, this is all handmade, man-made. It's impossible to, you know, to find these type of things. You might find similar, but not exactly on the same value, because this is all hand created and quality yarn, thread, you know. So I really hope you guys get to make, and if you do, I hope you let me know, or post me a picture. I'd be very excited to see it, you know, knowing that you guys are really into it. And so, okay, so I'm gluing this just around the edges, because then I'm going to go with my needle and stitch a little bit here and there. I don't want them to move, so in order for them not to move, I'm just placing a little bit of glue here and there. It doesn't have to be too much glue, just enough to get the piece to stay in, you know, so it doesn't move. And I can't wait to hear from some of you who have created some of my art. You know, it's always very exciting to know. You have to put more glue here. So very simple. I mean, you just have to pay attention, and you know, you got to be dedicated. You want something nice, you have to dedicate yourself to it. You know, it's if you were to do something in 2 seconds, it wouldn't probably be as lovely as it is, right? I mean, anybody can just do a little stitch here and there, but you got to be creative. You got to use your mind. You got to be alert on your stitches. There's so many different stitches and so many different ways of creating patterns. I have such a passion for this since a young girl that I've been doing this. So, you know, I hope that you guys get to do it too, you know. So just a little bit of glue there, because then the stitch goes on. Push this. Okay, and then I'm going to put a few here so this doesn't move. Makes it easier to put the stitch on when you have this glued. It doesn't move anywhere. And then you just stitch everything very nicely. Doesn't have to be too many stitches, you know, with the needle, sewing needle, but it has to be a big one in order for it to fit the yarn, because the yarn is quite thick. If it's a regular needle, it won't fit. So you got to get a bigger one. So just get a little bit here on the edge and make sure that it's going to stick. Just don't over put it, because then it's going to come out over in the other side. You don't want that, right? Oops. Get a little bit more here. Can't see anything from this side. A little bit more. Hope I'm not putting it on my table. I have a habit of not looking what I'm doing, and then it gets stuck underneath. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. I think I'm getting better at this glue. Okay, so thank you guys so much again. I just wanted to show you how it's placed and done. And I'm going to have the reveal shots and the little video at the end once I finish the other side of the flowers. I'm going to put it in the counter, film, take some shots, and upload it for you. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.